There's a definitive breaking point when a generational superstar is forced to operate under an utterly incompetent coaching staff. We have witnessed this exact friction ignite with icons like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan. When a basketball genius is constrained by a system designed by someone who barely understands modern geometry, an explosion is inevitable. Now, that exact explosion has officially been caught on camera between Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, marking the most volatile, controversial, and deeply revealing sideline footage of the entire 2026 WNBA season. This is a precise moment Clark completely abandoned the PR playbook and let management know she has finished tolerating their tactical sabotage, proving that while empty arenas are a massive problem in Indianapolis, the locker room culture is actively burning to the ground. Context is everything. Despite securing an 89-78 victory over the Seattle Storm, where Clark essentially took the reins to drop 21 points and 10 assists, head coach Stephanie White was reportedly furious. Why? Because Clark completely hijacked the offense in the first half, driving the team to a dominant plus 11 advantage. By utterly discarding the archaic, slow-paced, micromanaged system this coaching staff has been desperately trying to force-feed her all season, and that is exactly when the cameras caught the fallout.
With her coaches, she looks like she's done with their BS and attempt to micromanage everything she does. This coaching staff is not fit to coach a modern style player. Let's watch this. So this is the video. Caitlin Clark is going off, bro.
The raw, undeniable footage captures Caitlin Clark locked in a scorching high-intensity showdown with the Indiana Fever coaching staff. Visibly exasperated and gesturing wildly, her body language screams defiance as she actively pushes back against archaic instructions, ruthlessly defending her reads, her blistering pace, and her elite basketball IQ without backing down for a single second. Predictably, mainstream media apologists will weaponize this moment to label her uncoachable and demand she fall in line. But for true Fever fans, this footage is a masterclass in leadership. This isn't a diva throwing a tantrum. This is the greatest offensive mind in women's basketball history, flatly refusing to let a micromanaging coaching staff shackle her genius to a stagnant 1990s-era system. Clark processes the floor and anticipates weak side rotations faster than anyone holding a clipboard. And when an incompetent staff tries to dictate every single dribble, a generational superstar has an absolute professional obligation to snap back and demand excellence.
And she kept talking to her, and she's still snapping on her, bro. Snapping on them, bro. Keep that energy. Demon. Please delete this. It's going to turn against CC. You new to this? I don't think this should be deleted, bro. I don't. Because
For weeks, the calculated sabotage of Caitlin Clark has been plain to see. We witnessed head coach Stephanie White bench her in the dead center of a scorching hot streak, actively refuse to praise her historic 17-point fourth-quarter explosion at the podium, and inexplicably draw up a crucial, game-tying final shot for a player who routinely finishes games with 0 assists. Now, the grueling psychological toll of this management style is fully on display. Clark is done, the fans are done, and the basketball world is utterly exhausted from watching Ferrari being driven like a golf cart. Predictably, the fan base has responded to this latest footage with pure fury, turning comment sections into an absolute war zone where loyalists are drawing a hard line in the sand, declaring that supporting White means opposing Clark, period. It has become glaringly obvious that White sees his head coaching role not to maximize a generational talent, but to anchor herself to the historic media spotlight, desperately trying to prove her defensive guru system is the star, while actively punishing Clark for refusing to conform to an outdated playbook. The breaking point of this unbearable hypocrisy arrived post-game, when White stepped up to the podium. Facing a boiling room and a fan base executing a massive financial boycott that left 3,000 seats completely empty, she suddenly attempted to play nice and shift the narrative.
Caitlin probably in the 10 months in her return only needed a couple threes, only 5 shots, led in every one of those categories. What to you seemed like the most back or the furthest along maybe in her time back?
I think her burst. I think her burst, I think you can see it not just in taking off with the ball in her hands, but you can see it in the lift in her shot. You can see she looks strong. She looks like loaded in her actions. I think you can tell it by the way she gets to the free throw line too. So I just think her movement patterns and her burst are back.
When a reporter explicitly pressed her on Caitlin Clark's masterclass in efficiency, Stephanie White put on a clinic in political deflection, offering nothing but hollow praise. She meticulously engineered her response around Clark's physical attributes, lauding her burst, her leg lift, and her movement patterns, solely because athleticism is something this coaching staff cannot claim ownership over. Do not be blinded by this calculated PR spin. Notice the glaring omission of what White completely refused to praise: Clark's elite basketball IQ, her visionary court awareness, and her defiant decision to seize the offense to secure a dominant first-half advantage. Acknowledging Clark's genius would mean admitting her own strategic failure, exposing the ugly truth that while Clark is fighting to win basketball games, this coaching staff is desperate to win a petty power struggle. By prioritizing narrative control and an outdated playbook over maximizing a generational talent, management is actively cultivating a toxic culture, all while the ownership group and front office sit idly by as the most valuable asset in franchise history openly battles for her professional survival on the sidelines.
Having 5 people on a string.
20 o'clock.
What'd you like about seeing that starting group, and kind of to that end, you've changed your rotation up every single game to some extent? What do you feel like you're still trying to learn with this group this year?
Well, we're 4 games in with a lot of new pieces, so we're trying to figure out what the best combination of players is for the best net outcome. We know we got people that can score, we got some players that can defend, but we've got to have consistency throughout the course of the game, so we're trying to figure that out.
The excuses from the coaching staff are officially running on empty when cornered about her bizarre rotation changes. Stephanie White claimed she was merely experimenting 4 games in to find the best player combinations, an utterly unacceptable justification for a highly paid professional coach whose fundamental job is to understand personnel before the season tips off. Regular season games are not a testing lab for dysfunctional lineups, while your franchise centerpiece is begging you to let the offense flow. This explosive sideline eruption from Caitlin Clark is the ultimate warning sign, a blazing red flare shot into the sky signaling that she will no longer quietly endure tactical sabotage or let an ego-driven system derail her career. The front office now faces a multi-million-dollar ultimatum: back an archaic, stubborn staff currently presiding over a massive fan boycott and thousands of empty seats, or back the generational superstar who single-handedly resurrected the franchise. The friction has reached a point of no return. Is Clark completely justified in tearing into the coaching staff, or should she fall in line with White's playbook? How much longer can ownership ignore this public power struggle? Drop your most explosive, unfiltered take in the comments below. Smash that subscribe button and destroy the notification bell so you never miss a breakdown. The Civil War in Indianapolis has officially begun, and we are documenting every single second of it. This is Wnba Pro, and we will see you in the next one. The excuses from the coaching staff are officially running on empty when cornered about her bizarre rotation changes. Stephanie White claimed she was merely experimenting 4 games in to find the best player combinations, an utterly unacceptable justification for a highly paid professional coach whose fundamental job is to understand personnel before the season tips off. Regular season games are not a testing lab for dysfunctional lineups, while your franchise centerpiece is begging